How's it going, everyone? It's your old pal NerdGasm back once again with a comic book review. Today, I wanted to look at one of the most epic and memorable Justice League storylines of all time, JLA Rock of Ages from 1997, written by Grant Morrison and penciled by Howard Porter. Rock of Ages is one of the best Justice League storylines to feature the villain Darkseid, and it also includes the second incarnation of the Injustice Gang, the first to be led by criminal mastermind Lex Luthor. Before I officially get into my review of Rock of Ages, I did want to quickly run down the lineup of Justice League members at this time in the comics, just so no one is confused moving forward. You have Batman, Aquaman, Martian Manhunter, the Kyle Rayner Green Lantern, the Wally West Flash, Aztec, Green Arrow, and of course, Superman. Green Arrow was not Oliver Queen at this point, but his son, Connor Hawke. Ollie had been killed in an explosion in Green Arrow Volume 2, number 101, sacrificing himself to save the city of Metropolis from a mutagenic bomb. Wonder Woman was absent from the Justice League as well, following an encounter with the demon Neuron, putting her in some sort of agonizing coma-like state. She was essentially dead for all intents and purposes. And then you have Superman, who at this point was going through some things, to say the least. The Man of Steel was experiencing some changes in his powers, a weird fluctuation in them, and became a being of pure energy. He was able to absorb electricity, become intangible, could interact with various technology, and lost his vulnerability to kryptonite. He had to wear a special blue and white containment suit to keep his physicality, and of course would eventually be split into two forms during a battle with Cyborg Superman and Toyman. Superman Blue was the more calm and level-headed one, and Superman Red was the more aggressive one. If all of this sounds batshit insane, that's because it is. I don't know what DC was smoking when they came up with all of this. Honestly, I think it's a neat concept. It could work as its own separate character, just not Superman, the Man of fucking Steel. Anyways, it was the 1990s. Shit was all over the place, narratively and creatively, so don't question it. You'll hurt your brain. Rock of Ages begins with issue number 10 of JLA from September of 1997, with a group of purple holograms called the Revenge Squad, hard light projections of the Justice League, attacking Star City on the coast of the United States. The JLA manage to overpower them, and they disappear following the attack. It's revealed that the Revenge Squad were being controlled by a group of individuals within an orbiting satellite in space. It's the Injustice Gang, led by the devious mastermind Lex Luthor, and the holograms were being used to download all of the strengths and weaknesses of the Justice League into their computers. He compares the battle between the Justice League and the Injustice Gang to one between big corporations. He reassures his teammates that they must take their time, planning and observing their enemies before they strike. He also unveils a strange, heart-like object with a blue flame flickering inside of it, and says the corporate takeover of the Justice League has begun. Batman believes that the projections they had just fought were being controlled remotely, and has Kyle Rayner fly into space to see if he can detect an origin point. Despite being right beside the satellite, he can't sense anything, as his brain is being manipulated by an outside source, an alien. While all this is happening, Aztec and the Martian Manhunter detect a strange energy field approaching the Earth from all sides, and John Johns goes to investigate in a Martian jump ship. When he reaches the energy field, he is overwhelmed with despair and sadness, telling Superman that there is no hope, no meaning, that they are all alone, and that this terrible energy wave is coming, headed straight for the Earth. Now, this energy wave the Martian Manhunter is talking about is the God Wave, a cosmic force created by the Source, the consciousness of the DC universe, and it spreads across the universe to create all of its gods on its first pass, and then, after reaching the end of the universe, it bounces back and creates all of the demigods and metahumans on its second pass. The God Wave threatens all of reality within the crossover event Genesis in October of 1997. Yes, a crossover event that takes place within another crossover, Rock of Ages. This is Inception levels of storytelling, I know. All we really need to take from that story Genesis in order to continue on with this one is that the Justice League team up with the new gods of New Genesis to battle Darkseid and his allies, along with his army of parademons that invade the Earth and try to take control of the God Wave's power. The battle ends at the Source Wall, the barrier separating the multiverse with the Source, and Darkseid and his allies become trapped in it. Let's get back to Rock of Ages though, with issue 11 of JLA that has Lex Luthor watching over the planet from space, believing his rivalry with Superman has reached its boiling point. He sees the Man of Steel and the superhuman team of alpha males he leads as a direct challenge to him. Luthor states that in 3 days' time, the Justice League will be destroyed, and immediately we see the level of control Luthor has over the rest of the Injustice gang, the precision in every step of his plan coming into play, not letting any of the other supervillains show too much initiative, stray too far off the beaten path he has laid out for them. We had never seen this kind of leadership in this team before, with Luthor at the helm, holding on to all of the other villains' leashes essentially. Anything seemed possible. The Justice League works together to try and find the source behind their evil hologram doppelgangers. The team is divided though when Kyle Rayner and Connor Hawke are sent to San Fernando Valley, where a portion of the Indian Ocean has spontaneously appeared there. After the threat is neutralized, the heroes relax at a nearby restaurant, but the villainous, Circe, begins manipulating the mind of Connor, playing off the death of his father. Green Lantern leaves, but Connor remains. Superman and Martian Manhunter follow a signal they have been receiving and reach the Injustice Gang's satellite, but that too is a holographic decoy, and the two of them walk right past the villains, not even realizing they are there. These hard-light holograms the villains have been creating are a combination of Dr. Light and Mirror Master's abilities. Joker takes control of the environment, and his psychotic mind is basically given physical form. John manages to alter the shape of his brain, enlarging the irrational right hemisphere of it so they can navigate their surroundings. Superman and Martian Manhunter make it to the end of the Joker's maze, only to find a random CD player armed with explosives that are detonated when Superman uses his X-ray vision. At the Watchtower, the Flash, Aquaman, and Aztec are confronted by the new god Metron, who speaks to them about a powerful artifact known as the Philosopher's Stone, and that they must help him find it before Darkseid, or all of space and time, will suffer immense consequences. Back on the Injustice Gang's satellite, Lex Luthor is holding the heart-shaped crystal his company had recently discovered, and it seems to react to his every thought. In the Batcave, Batman has deduced that Lex Luthor has been behind all of the recent machinations, that he has created his own team of supervillains, and has been using business tactics against the JLA, tactics he himself is all too familiar with. Green Lantern arrives at the Watchtower as Metron finishes upgrading its teleportation capabilities using a mother box. He opens up doorways throughout space and time, and sends Green Lantern, the Flash, and Aquaman through them, sensing traces of the Philosopher's Stone. The heroes are split up temporarily, and during his journey, Kyle Rayner finds himself on a graveyard planet orbiting a black sun, where countless superheroes have been mysteriously turned to stone. Eventually, Rayner is reunited with his allies at a place called Wonderworld, on the edge of the universe, that is much larger in scale than the planet Earth. Superman and Martian Manhunter manage to survive the explosion of the decoy satellite and head back to Earth to rendezvous with Batman. Lex Luthor has managed to brainwash an ally of Martian Manhunter, known as Gem, the son of Saturn, using his strange crystal. Gem is acting as a psychic weapon against the Justice League, and had impersonated John Johns earlier in the story. Cersei brings Connor Hawke to the Injustice Gang satellite, manipulating him with helping them shut down the Justice League. He wants to do it for his father, angry at Superman for not saving him. On Wonderworld, Green Lantern, Aquaman, and the Flash find themselves in the presence of giant godlike beings that patrol and defend the known universe. Green Lantern explains to them that on his journey through space and time, he had met with a being known as Our Man, who had told him that they had all been deceived by Metron, that the Philosopher's Stone has been on Earth the entire time, in the possession of Lex Luthor, and with them absent, the stone will be destroyed, and Darkseid will enslave the planet. On Earth, as Superman and Martian Manhunter arrive in the Batcave, it's revealed that Batman has employed one of the Injustice Gang's members, Mirror Master, the only mercenary of the bunch, to act as a double agent for the JLA. The giant beings of Wonderworld agree to help the stranded Justice Leaguers return to Earth with a special machine that will convert their physical forms into hyperlight information once the Flash manages to tap into the Speed Force and reach top speed. Problem is, it will be nearly impossible to arrive at Earth at the exact point in time and space they need to be, so it's kind of a toss-up. They take their chances, but when the heroes finally reach Earth, they realize that they are a tad late, as the whole continent of Europe has been replaced with a giant fire pit, similar to the ones found on Apocalypse, signifying that Darkseid has arrived. Yes, the heroes have made it back to Earth, but 15 years into the future, and have taken possession of their older future bodies. The planet has become a dismal and polluted wasteland. Darkseid has been broadcasting the anti-life equation, and the citizens of Earth have become his mindless slaves. Wonder Woman is alive and kicking in this reality, and her and Aquaman fight off a horde of Darkseid's parademons. After punching a hole into the ground to escape in the sewers, they are confronted by a rogue trooper, revealed to be Kyle Rayner. Good God, has he seen better days. They also managed to track down Wally West, who has been trapped working at a fire pit construction site in Keystone City. His older body he has possessed is out of shape and has lost its connection with the Speed Force. The surviving heroes of Earth gather together, and after Aquaman explains that he, West, and Rayner are versions of themselves from the past, they are updated on what happened in the last 15 years. Darkseid conquered the Earth after the Justice League had destroyed the Philosopher's Stone. Batman had been captured, and Superman had committed suicide after he mercy-killed Lois Lane after her mind had been erased by Darkseid and his followers. The planet of New Genesis had been turned into a mirror image of Apocalypse, and Granny Goodness had downloaded her brain into New Genesis's all-giving mother box to become a pitiless grandmother box, and Las Vegas had been transformed into Darkseid's torture capital of the world. The heroes managed to infiltrate Darkseid's stronghold in Las Vegas, with Kyle Rayner disguising them as his prisoners. When they break into the main facility, they are expecting to face a great deal of opposition, but they learn that Darkseid had been defeated months ago by Batman, who had taken his place. Talk about stealth level 101. He tells the other heroes that he had been in contact with Darkseid, and that they must stop him, whatever the cost. He is coming back to finish what he started 15 years ago, and wants to turn all of Earth into a global concentration camp. The Dark Knight suits up, and suggests to the other heroes that they should find Metron and steal his Mobius chair, so Aquaman, Wally West, and Kyle Rayner can go back in time and prevent all of this from ever happening. Just then, in Metropolis, there is a drop in air pressure, and all the remaining babies begin to cry. On your knees for the Master! The hour has come! He has come! Who is beyond good and evil? Who is the prophet of anti-life? Who is the rock and the chain and the lightning? All powerful, all unforgiving, all conquering. Who is your new god now and forever? Darkseid is. The surviving defenders of Earth use boom tube technology to enter Darkseid's fortress in Metropolis undetected. As Wonder Woman holds off Darkseid as long as she can, Batman throws down a special stochastic smoke bomb to confuse Metron, giving him enough time to get in close. He convinces the new god, who values knowledge, that there is still something he can learn from humanity before Darkseid eradicates the entire species, something he can still feel, and the only way to learn it is if he could somehow become human. Metron agrees and uses his abilities to alter his biology to that of a human's, only for Batman to make him experience what a direct punch in the face feels like. Hilarious. With Metron's Mobius chair in their possession, Aquaman, Wally West, and Kyle Rayner go back in time to prevent Superman from destroying the Philosopher's Stone. The rest of the heroes in the future make one final stand against Darkseid and his forces. Wonder Woman is killed, and Batman is targeted by Darkseid's Omega Beams, wiped clean from existence, and sent God knows where. Thankfully, Green Arrow and the Atom arrive, and Connor fires a flare arrow with Atom attached to it. Darkseid has a force field around himself, but the Atom realizes that if he can see out of it, there must be a way in for something riding the waves of light. He enters Darkseid's brain and begins destroying it from the inside, frying it with a neural storm and leaving him a lifeless husk, a statue. In a Metropolis basement, we see that Orion from New Genesis has created the ultimate weapon, powered by a Genesis box that will destroy the entire universe and rebuild it without Darkseid. The blast engulfs everything in existence. Finally, Darkseid is no more. It's revealed that the Philosopher's Stone, or the Woolagog as it's known on New Genesis, the Hourglass of the Gods, is an exact miniature of the space-time continuum, a mirror of the entire universe. Back in the past, Connor Hawke reveals his true allegiance with the Justice League, taking over the teleporter on the Injustice Gang's satellite to bring in the other members of the JLA for one final confrontation. Plastic Man is also present, having tied up the Joker in the lower levels, and has been posing as the villain for quite some time. Lex Luthor has Dr. Light manipulate all forms of wavelengths to send Superman skyrocketing through the solar system. Martian Manhunter manages to lift the brainwashing on Gem, and he attacks Luthor from behind, putting an end to his corporate takeover of the Justice League once and for all. With the villains defeated, Superman is able to return to the satellite and plans on destroying the Philosopher's Stone, but John Johns picks up a signal from the Green Lantern, who had just finished his journey back through time, and stops him before it's too late. All the heroes and villains then teleport to the Watchtower, and the satellite is destroyed. Aquaman, Flash, and Green Lantern then fill everyone in on the details regarding the potential future and Darkseid's conquering of Earth. The Justice League returns the Philosopher's Stone to Metron, and he tells them that the stone is a fake. The real one had been switched out by the Joker, who managed to escape. Thankfully, Martian Manhunter is able to telepathically make Joker sane long enough for the Flash to snatch it out of his hands. Before he does, though, the Joker is convinced by Lex Luthor to use the stone's power to undo all the damage caused by the Injustice Gang and their revenge squad that had attacked Star City, essentially making Lex Luthor free of all possible charges. Superman, Batman, and Aquaman discuss their recent battle, and the incomprehensible scale of which the universe was hinging on its outcome. With careful consideration, they decide to disband the Justice League of America. I don't think you need me to tell you that Rock of Ages is a kick-ass story, one of the greatest featuring the Justice League and arguably their greatest villain, Darkseid. Seeing that possible future, that desolate and grim version of the Earth, is insane. Darkseid has eliminated all hope and freedom among its inhabitants, is grinding the very idea of life beneath his feet, and Darkseid is written amazingly in this story. He is depicted as an immense threat, an intimidating force, a powerhouse. It's awesome. I love the idea of him turning the Earth's moon into a zombie factory, where the anti-life equation is being pumped into all those that are sent there. And I love those headsets his mindless slaves are wearing that reference the three wise monkeys: see no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil. The idea of turning a blind eye to something. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, Rock of Ages was the first time Lex Luthor had been depicted leading the Injustice Gang. I think as a villain, he is written expertly well here also. His leadership and strategy bring a whole new level of competence to this team, solidify them as a viable threat to the Justice League. The way he takes advantage of the situation at the end too with the Joker, managing to get away scot-free with everything he has done. What a sneaky bastard. The weasel of all weasels. As DC crossovers go, Rock of Ages is pretty damn epic, featuring a lot of memorable moments and visuals. It manages to tell a cohesive story despite having another crossover take place within it, not to mention incorporating elements regarding time travel, which can sometimes get a bit messy. The Justice League lineup in this story is a little unorthodox to say the least, especially in regards to Superman, but that doesn't tarnish the overall experience of reading it in any way in my opinion. The League would be disbanded at the end, but this would act as simple shock value, because the JLA would return in the following issue and restructure the entire team, getting rid of some old members and recruiting some new ones. Wonder Woman even came back, so nothing too crazy that we haven't seen countless times before. Rock of Ages is legendary at this point among comic book fans, ones that are familiar with DC and its universe. It's closely associated with Darkseid, and for good reason. I think it really set the standard for what these kinds of stories featuring this villain could be like, and really should be like, in order to please audiences. I had a blast reading this storyline again in order to make this review, and I hope you all enjoyed watching it. If so, think about subscribing to the channel to help support the creation of videos like these, and hit that bell icon to be notified of future ones I release on here. If you'd like to help nominate topics for future comic book or even video game reviews, take part in the monthly polls to determine which ones I analyze, you can do so by becoming a patron over on patreon.com for as little as $1 a month. You'll also gain access to the exclusive episodes of my podcasts I release every month also. Once again, thank you for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.